So we can start with chapter 1, exam oriented session, and page number 10 of the ISM book. I have prepared this slide where the social sector refers to all those set of activities which contributes to human capital formation and human development. So what does this mean? That social sector contributes to activities related to human capital formation and human development, both, like education, health, medical care, water supply, sanitation, housing, etc. The social sector is also called the third sector. So this can be another MCQ, that social sector is the third sector in the economy. Private sector, public sector, and social sector. But primary sector is also there. So in the MCQ, they can ask, they can give you 4 options. Social sector is primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, or the third sector. So we have to mention in the MCQ, social sector is the third sector. And this comprises of the voluntary organizations, NPOs, NGOs, Section 8 companies, and this can be the for-the-profit enterprises. Now, what is the approach of social sector? Social sector approach aims at addressing the gap. If you are having the NISM book with yourself, you can highlight the words which I have highlighted and underlined, because these are the words from where MCQ can be formed. So approach of the social sector aims at addressing the gap in sector like education, health, sanitation, housing, energy, environment, and so on, focusing on the disadvantaged and vulnerable sections. So in the approach, they have mentioned disadvantaged and vulnerable sections. In all other places, they have mentioned underserved and less privileged sections of the society. So please remark this, in the approach section, they have mentioned focusing on the disadvantaged and vulnerable section instead of underserved and less privileged sections. Every other place they are using underserved. In the social development goals or in the ICDR regulations, they have mentioned underserved and less privileged. But in the approach to the social sector aims is they are using disadvantaged and vulnerable section. This can be a confusing element in the MCQ. They can give the both options, and we will correct the mark as the less privileged section and the underserved society. But in the approach, they have covered this. So another approach where the social sector is aiming at conducting research-based advocacy and feeding into better informed programs. What does this mean? That social sector is not only the providing the education or health and sanitation facility. Even an NGO who is doing the research in these sectors so that better informed programs can be made, those are covered under the social sector. So this can also be an exam question where they will give you different MCQs, and then you may think that research-based advocacy is not the part of social sector. Another aim is forming think tank organization with a right-based approach to address social issues. So in the MCQ, there can be the 4 or 5 options, that an NGO who is looking after the health sector, who is providing the sanitation services, or research-based advocacy, forming think tank, and addressing the social issues. And we will choose the option A only, but the option will be all of the above. They can ask for the forming think tank addressing the social issues. So if there is a think tank who are addressing the commercial issues or who is addressing the political issues, then it will not be a social sector aim. Social sector aim will be only if there is a think tank formed for the addressing the social issues. Social sector has been identified as an important partner towards addressing the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 agenda. This will be done in the later sessions. To give the background, why this social sector or social audit concept now gaining so much importance, though it is existing in India since independence, being India is a welfare state and lot of NGO. For your information, for every 400 Indians, there is one NGO is there. So it is very unorganized sector. But now the internationally also UN member nations have identified 17 social development goals in their 2030 agenda. And all the members have signed this, committed for the development. and these goals are for the developed and developing countries. So this can be an MCQ, that social development goals which are adopted by UN member nations. So who has adopted the social development goals adopted by the UN member nations, not the European Council, BRICS, or any other organization? These are the 17 in numbers. So social development goals adopted are 17 in numbers by the UN member nations. And this is the 2030 agenda they have adopted. And these are adapted for developed and developing nations. So there can be MCQs where they will ask that SDGs are identified for developed nation, developing nations, either A or B, both A and B. Answer will be both A and B. How many SDGs are identified by the UN member nations? You need to be careful. In the UN member nations, there are 17 SDG. In the ICDR regulation, for the eligibility of a social enterprise, they have identified 16 activities. In the working paper submitted by the working committee and corporate CSR schedule 7, there are 15 activities identified. So there are 3 different numbers on the social development goals or social activities.
Can you repeat the last part, please? 15
Yeah.
kahan identify hua hai, please?
15 in the working paper or working committee, they have given the 15. In the CSR also, schedule 7 of the Companies Act, there are 15 activities. But 15, these 2 are not asked in the examination. In the examination, they are asked either in the NITI Aayog or in the ICDR regulation, which are 16 in the numbers. And SDG agenda adopted by United Member Nation, there are 17 activities. So these 2 are confusing.
NITI Aayog and ICRD, they are same?
Sorry?
The activities identified by SEBI, ICDR, RD and NITI Aayog are the same?
Yes, these are the same.
Could you please repeat them? ICDR is 16, right?
ICDR is 16. 17th is they have reserved that any other area as identified by the board. So far, they have identified 16 activities. And we have also the 16 social audit standards also. They are 16. 1 for each activity.
Okay.
But if in the MCQ, they give both the options like SEBI as well as NITI Aayog. So what should we choose?
No, how many numbers they will give? In the MCQ, they will give 17 activities are identified by UN member nation or ICDR. So you have to given the 17 are given by UN member nation. If you have to, they are giving that what is the eligible. So eligibility is as per the ICDR regulation. So we have to mention eligibility are for any of the 16 activities.
Thank you.
Yeah. So these eligibility sections, regulations will also cover in later session. I have touched base this because this is also mentioned in the first chapter of social development goals, and so that you can give the MCQs related to this here also. So they have given in the next section, they may ask the questions on the first 5-6 activities also, that which is the agenda in the UN member nations on the first or second priority or third index. So you just remember first 6 or 7 development goals. The list of sustainable development goals is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality. So just remember these 5-6 first one, and there can be one MCQ on this. 5-6 of the UN member as well as 5-6 of the ICDR regulation. First 6 activities, please remember, there can be an MCQ on this. So the first is the idea of stock exchange was first mooted by 99% have corrected B. This is Nirmala Sitharaman who has given. Second, the term social sector refers to all those set of activities which contributes to. You can have the open page, you can go to the page number 10 and see there is an and word used there. Social sector is also called. Approaches of social sector do not aim at. So please look at do not aim at. It is a negative question. Be careful. So here I am getting the mixed response. And those who are marking D, please read the question carefully. Leave it if you don't know. It will give you -0.25. Or D is the right answer.
Sir, so A and B both, or how is it?
Yeah, let me explain. Approaches of social sector do not aim at focusing on the privileged section of the population. Yeah, so social sector do not aim at the privileged section.
It's D actually,
Right, its answer will be D because they are focusing on the underprivileged
because
sections.
even the C is saying conducting research with
Yes.
advocacy
In the
for
commercial sector.
commercial
In the commercial
sector, the
sector,
word
right.
commercial sector.
We have to
Social
read the
sector
question twice or thrice.
Yes. Though I have
One
framed the
word will
question.
make a major difference now.
Yes. In
Oh,
the
that's
book,
the
if you see
catchword.
this social
That
sector.
is a catchword. That is a
Lovely.
catchword. The commercial sector is a catchword.
Thanks.
Yeah. So please read the question fully, carefully. Yeah. The 2030 agenda for the sustainable development was adopted in the 2005 by
C. It should be C.
C.
yeah, member state of United Nations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can speak also so that energy will be there and time will be less. Now coming next quickly, social enterprise. So these slides are just for the information, not in the coming to the exam, but I quickly cover these slides. There are the social enterprises existing also. As I mentioned earlier, also there it's a very new concept of the social stock exchange. And as Dr. Gupta also mentioned that because of the fundraising and increasing the transparency, this concept is now emerging one. But in India, we have the formal organization as Ashoka in 1981. They are in the education sector, providing the education sector learning in the classrooms since 1981. And this organization is the top 5 NGOs in the world. You can go and visit their website. Selco Power is another organization who is providing the sustainable energy to the underserved household and businesses. They are providing the energy on a daily basis. They are charging on daily basis to the poor people and making the solar plants at their roof sets only. Then there is one Arvind Eye Care. In 1976, this organization is there. This is a dual concept. They are charging high from the people who can pay, and they are subsidizing the underserved people or a less privileged society. So this is also an NGO as per the social enterprises. Social enterprise definition is defined in the ICDR guidelines, as I mentioned earlier, that they are the non-profit social mission and financial sustainability through commercial viability. So they have access not only to the grants, but also to the social venture capital fund. So this can be the MCQ that social enterprise has the access to the social venture capital funds also. Main key features of the social enterprises are: it is for the social or environmental cause. It has a revenue generating model where profits are earned through sale of products. Revenue generating is invested back for a social cause. So all the revenue which is generated, that is invested back for the social cause. These enterprises operate like companies and have enterprise orientations. For the information, this can be an MCQ also, that Ministry of Corporate Affairs has reported that highest spent is on the health and sanitation. 8,076 crores is done in the health and sanitation sector. So what is the topmost spent in India? In which sector? It is the health and sanitation sector. Social enterprise is a type of organization which aligns non-profit social mission with the sustainability through commercial viability. So there should be two factors which are important for the social enterprise: social intent and social impact. So there should be a social intent. It is the pre-requirement. In the coming sessions, you will see in detail when there is eligibility will come under the ICDR. So the first and foremost requirement is the social intent. Funds are raised and plans are made to make a difference to the society. Making profit and redistributing it is not the intention, Additional resources, if any generated, will be reinvested to the objective. Social impact can be defined as the people effect on the people and communities that happens as a result of an action or inaction, an activity, project, program, or policy. So this is the result of the activity carried out by the NGO. So we have given social enterprise definition, but in the ICDR regulation, they have given social enterprises means either a non-profit organization or for-profit social enterprise that meets the eligibility criteria specified in SEBI ICDR regulation. So this can be an MCQ, that who is a social enterprise, who meets the social intent, who fulfills the eligibility criteria, under which regulation. So they can give you the 4 regulations, and ICDR regulations are the right answer. There are the different forms of social sector organization. So one of the key challenges coming out that NGOs are registered under the various laws. So MCQ can come on this also. That trust is the oldest form. It is registered under Indian Trust Act 1882. Society Registration Act under in 1860, and Section 8 Companies Act 2013. And any society registered under the relevant statute is also can be an NPO, that you will cover in the regulation of the eligibility 292E. However, trust has the constitution as trust deed. Society has the constitution's MOA and rules and regulations. Section 8 company has the MOA and AOA. There are the different regulatory authorities. Trusts are governed by Deputy Registrar of the state. Society is governed by the Registrar or Deputy Registrar of the state. And Section 8 company is regulated by the Registrar of Companies or Regional Director. Minimum number required in trust, there are 2 trustees. Society, 7 members. In the J&K, there are 5 members. In NIsM material, Telangana also has the 5 members. But now there is an amendment in the new NIsM material, and they are giving only 5. So in the old NIsM material, in the NIsM book, there are 2 states mentioned. In the current NIsM book, only 1 state is mentioned. So those who are reading from the old book, please correct this in their book itself. The only J&K has the 5 minimum member in the society. Section 8 company has 2 directors and 2 shareholders. Shareholders can be director also. Annual compliance is different in the trust, society, as well as Section 8 company. There are different regulations coming in. With the evolution of the concept of social entrepreneurship, so for the profit social enterprises, as well as hybrid models like Arvind Eye Care, are also emerged. So to bring them on the same platform, all these, the social stock exchange is coming in with the uniform accounting practices and audit framework. So one MCQ can come out of any of these permutation combinations, they can give it. So social enterprise taxonomy is the hierarchy. So social and primacy of the social intent and impact is the must and foremost for the social enterprises. That is the primacy, that is the must. And then social intent and impact to demonstrate the social objective. So we are at page number 15 of the NIsM book, taxonomy related to social enterprises. Social objective, to undertake or less privileged population or regions. So here they have mentioned underserved or less privileged population or regions. Approach में different था. Social intent, having social good.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था, सोशल इम्पैक्ट में लिखा हुआ है कैन बी डिफाइंड एज इफेक्ट ऑन पीपल एंड कम्युनिटीज दैट हैपन एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ एक्शन, समझ में आ गया, और इनएक्शन कैसे हो सकता है सर?
मैं कोई एक्शन नहीं ले रहा हूं, उसके लिए कोई पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट जाएगा. I could not cite the example right now, but not acting, not doing something is also, I'm not opposing something.
Okay.
That is also an action. Inaction means suppose I am doing the CST cause के लिए कोई upliftment के लिए काम कर रहा है और मैं चुप बैठा हूं, मैं शांति से उसको सिर्फ silent support कर रहा हूं. I am not taking any action. I can
Let's move
oppose that
forward.
also.
Done.
So I understand someone takes initiative, you don't kind of question it.
Yes. So social impact is the positive change on the primary stakeholders, secondary stakeholders, and society as the at large. Social objective. So financial bottom line. This is the important MCQ. Financial bottom line is not the social objective. It should be a social bottom line. Social objectives are centered around to create product and services relevant to the target beneficiary to accelerate human welfare. The social activities will guide the formulation of activities, interventions, and programs in line to address the target beneficiaries in the target geography. So these are the three: social intent, social impact, and what is the social objective. Yeah, MCQ time. With reference to the accounting and reporting requirement of the social sector organization, such as trust, society, and Section 8 companies, which of the following statement hold true? So they are governed by Companies Act? No. They are governed under an act as per the registration? Yes. They are governed under SEBI Act? No. There is no single regulatory body for these regulations? Yes. So answer is B.
1 and 4. 2 and 4.
Maximum CSR funds as per MCA report have been spent on?
Health and sanitation.
Yes. Eligibility criteria for social enterprises mentioned in ICDR regulations. This we have covered. Now, social intervention. Program designed to deliver social benefit and develop human capital for a specific target group is the social intervention. Social intervention is the set of activities. This can be the social welfare, safety net, and social protection. So in the whole NIsM book, I found at so many places they have given three criteria. Like here you are given social intervention as social welfare, safety net, and social protection. At many other places you will find three items which are very important for the MCQ purpose. So they are the four options. They will give three and fourth one also. Synonym of any one of these, and you will be confused. So please underline all the lines where they have given three options. These are very important for the MCQ. That is a one tip. When you read the NIsM book again, please highlight all the sentences where they have given three options. So terms in the social intervention, this is the base for the all the future coming out sessions. Social capital, stakeholders, social development, sustainability, and input, activities, output, outcome, and impact. These are the terminology we are going to just touch base. Social development is the process of achieving desired social change. So there can be an MCQ on the word desired. It is the expected social change, target social change, desired social change. So they can give the 3-4 synonyms, and answer will be the desired social change for the social development. Social capital is the social relations formed for productive benefit. Here again they can mention productive benefit, commercial benefit, social benefit. So they can give 3-4 synonyms here, and you have to mention the which is the right word. So I am on page number 17. So you just highlight the word for the productive benefit. Then stakeholders. Then any group or individual who can affect or is affected by. So both are the stakeholders. One who can affect, who has the power to affect, or who is going to be affected by the achievement of the organization objective. Those are the stakeholders. Sustainability is the important definition coming in. Sustainability is the meeting the needs of the present. So current की needs को meeting करते हुए without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. फ्यूचर जनरेशन की क्वालिटी को कंप्रोमाइज ना करते हुए मुझे करंट की नीड्स को भी मीट करना है. सो दे कैन मेंशन कि वी कैन सैक्रिफाइस द नीड ऑफ द करंट बट फ्यूचर शुड बी सिक्योर्ड. So there can be a confusing MCQ can be here. Then coming out to the input activities, this slide is very important because this is the slide which we are going to discuss in chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, and a very important slide for the 30 marks exam. In the social, where we did the case studies and social impact assessments. So what are the inputs? These are the resources like money, raw material, training material, technology, human, financial, and any other material resources. Again, there are three, which include human, financial, and material resources. Such as, then example is there. So I mentioned that there are at many places, there are the three options or three alternate or three words will be given. So in input, they have given the three words in human, financial, and material resources. Activities Activities are the initiatives which organization or products undertake to achieve the desired goal. Again, the word is desired goal. Output, product, services or facilities that immediately result from an organization. So this is the immediate result. Someone has asked in the question in the chat box, the thin line difference between the output, outcome and impact. Output is the immediate effect, the whole that we have conducted the classes. 84 has enrolled, 75 participant has joined. So this 75 is the output of the initiative taken by Mr. Anand and all the faculties who are going to take the session today. So this is the output. What is the outcome? How many of you will understand out of this and clear the exam? And impact, when all of you become the social auditor and do the maybe serving again the people who want to become the social auditor or serving the NGOs, that will be the impact on the society. I think this example clears the thin line difference between the output, outcome and impact.
Yes, sir.
So outcome is the short-term changes, benefits, learning, like increasing the save. If there is a program going on for the women empowerment, so what is the saving in the increasing in the banks of the women? Then that will be the outcome. And if they are become the confident, then it will be the impact. Social intervention method. So method of the social intervention, how can we do the social intervention methods? One is the care management. I am at the page number 19 of the NISM material. Those who are reading NISM book with me, please be on page 19. Care management, linked mainly with the community care or specific beneficiary community. So this care management is linked with the only a particular community, beneficiary community. Strength-based and solution-based opportunity. So this is the collaborative practice wherein the people, they have to understand the strength of the beneficiaries and resources available in the region. Like water is available in the region and we are making the hydropower project. So that is the watershed management project. These are called the strength-based approach. Narrative social network. Narrative social network is again target-based with a small group, or they have identified the problem of the individual. They will give the confidence to them, like personality development programs, mental health awareness. These are the narrative social network. Sorry. Then another method of the social intervention. Social intervention, I will again explain. These are the activities carried out to bring a change. So these can be brought out by the 5 ways. So fourth one is group work. An individual social development is influenced by way of group effort. Members of group look forward of achieving the same objective with the collective endeavors. So this helps the individuals to enhance their social functioning. Self-help groups, health and sanitation awareness programs, and also like we are taking today the chapter or this session, the 9 faculties. This is also a group work. Task-centered social work. Emphasize problem solving and evidence-based practical approach. This method starts in defining the problem. So this is the systematic task center. First, I will define the problem. I will establish the goal and then achieve the same. It is a methodological kind of method, task-centered social work. This is the 5th method in the social intervention. I hope all the 5s are clear to you. Because in MCQ, you have to understand the concept. Here, the MCQ will come concept-based. So if you understand the difference between the 5, you are able to give the answer. Same way, in the output, outcome, impact, you understand the concept. Then you can easily count. In the case studies, in the social impact assessment, in the impact scorecard, everywhere you have to go with a thin line difference of output, outcome, and impact. These are the 3 words again, very important in the NISM material. Then there are the inherent risks in the social intervention. What are the risks in the social intervention? Page number 20 of the NISM material. So there are the 6 risks identified in the NISM book. One is the strategic risk, that is the funder driven, because NGOs, NPOs are the fund driven. I can having the not having the long term vision. So I cannot plan long term because I don't know how many donors will come next year. So one time donations are more in India rather than subscription based, or I cannot make the project viable because people can come in, but I don't know how much will be funded. So I cannot take the long-term vision for my organization because of this. So strategy cannot be formed out. Financial risk, again, the same thing, that I cannot hire the resources, expertise, because I have the lack of funding, and either I can educate the people, I cannot hire more, and also resources will not join the NGOs because their payout is less. Operational risk, then there will be the lack of qualified staff. In the NGOs, the qualified staff is less because the payout is less, and they have the financial risk. Technology related risk, because this is the remote areas, digital tools, latest technology is not available with the NGOs, or infrastructure facilities are lacking in different areas. Internet facility नहीं है जहाँ पे हमें काम करना है, we cannot apply the modern tools, modern amenities to uplift the society. Regulatory risk, then there can be change in policy support. We are doing one activity and then that activity can be out from the CSR, or those whether this will be allowed or not, ambiguity is there. That's why there always be a regulatory risk in the social intervention. Environmental risk is also can be an issue, that what is the effect on the climate change, what's your activity you are doing, what is the climate change, if you are preparing making the say hydropower project or making a dam to generate the electricity, so then there can be the environment risk, the forest can come under the risk, and that can be affect the others. So that is also an example where we mentioned that there can be the unintended negative risk or unintended negative impacts of a social cause. So that can be better for one target segment but cannot be better for other. So there can be side effect of a one social cause to the other. So these are the environmental risks here we are talking about in the social intervention. Then social sector challenges in comparability. There are the challenges in the comparability in the social sector. As you mentioned, these are governed by different laws and regulation. The outcome and impact depends on the service user, how they perceive it. Qualitative and subjective outcome, that is very subjective thing, that you cannot in the social, when we do the social impact scorecard, the qualitative and quantitative both are the outcomes. So qualitative subjective outcomes are very subjective in nature. For you it is very good, for me it is making so impact, for someone it is waste of time because crash course is very fast, but who have read it they may find it very good, right? And for someone, if I'm speaking in Hindi and someone is not understanding Hindi, it is bad. So it is very subjective outcome how you perceive it. The social sector benchmark of one intervention cannot be applied to other, that is another challenges, because different interventions are carried out in different set of environment. So one result of one intervention cannot be compared with the other. So the target population can be different. One can be applied in urban area, one in the rural area. Urban area education upliftment is very easy. In rural area, because of digital limitation, there are a different set of challenges. So we cannot compare one set of intervention result with the other set of intervention. Social sector international standards. So there are the international standards which are voluntary guidelines. So there are the international standards exist for the social sector, but these are the voluntary guidelines and subject to the local regulatory guideline compliances. So this can be an MCQ, whether the international standards are mandatory or voluntary. And they have given the name of the international standards also: OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises, UN guiding principles on business and human rights, UN Global Compact, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Global Reporting Initiative. Then key stakeholders can be divided into two parts. One is the internal and external stakeholders. MCQ can come here also. Who is the internal stakeholder? Who is the external stakeholders? All the employees, office bearers, board members are the internal stakeholders. But if they are the volunteers who are doing, these are the external stakeholders. So please keep in mind, volunteers who are performing, consultants, these are the external stakeholders, not the internal stakeholders. Government, funders, investors, these are the external stakeholders. Only the employees, board member, office bearers, part-time employees, contract employees are the internal stakeholders of the social enterprise. One important MCQ can come out of this slide. direct and indirect stakeholders. Who are the direct stakeholders? Who are directly impacted by the social intervention are the direct stakeholders. Indirect stakeholders like local community, local political leaders, these are the indirect stakeholders in the social enterprise. Again, three. I emphasize the three words because at many places I found three, and many questions I see in the exam which are coming out of these three, which is confusing one. So they will give the option and
The
you have to
page
remember
number?
page number 24. So thrust areas, sectoral thrust, geographic thrust, and technological thrust. These are the three thrust areas which have been identified. In the social sectoral thrust, they have mentioned the priorities also, that poverty, no hunger, and gender equality is the top priority in the sectoral thrust. Followed by health, education, decent work. These are the other development goals, but top priority developments is given to poverty, hunger, and gender equality. So these again three under the sectoral thrust. In geographic thrust, Government of India had identified 112 districts as the strong aspirants. So India is a vast country, vast geography, disbalances are there. So we have identified 112 districts who should be focused one, where more impact will be there to meet out the 2030 agenda of the UN member nations. Then technological thrust. Technological thrust, the MCQ can come in. The four items are there: science, technology, engineering, and medicine. So please remember this: science, technology, engineering, and medicine, STEM, STEM. So they can give you the option: science, technology, medical aid, and engineering. Science, technology, education, and medical aid. Science, technology, education, and medicine. So they can give different options, but right option is science, technology, engineering, and medicine. So MCQ time.
B, sir.
D. D.
D. D.
You can open
Science,
the book.
technology.
If you have the book, you can easily do this.
Yeah. So meanwhile, one question I had posted on the chat: volunteers will be considered as external stakeholders, or they'll be considered internal?
External.
Okay, thanks.
You can refer page number 22 of NIsM material.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
26.
So right answer is D. Which one of the following are indirect stakeholders in the social sector? So this is the internal or external. It is the direct and indirect. Page number 22 of the NIsM book.
B.
B.
Local politician, local community are the indirect shareholders.
Indirect
Because
stakeholders.
answer is not the internal or external. It is the direct and indirect. So please take care while attempting the answer. What they are asking. Don't get confused. It's very thin line differences are there and you will lose 1.25 marks. So coming fast, Indian financial market. Indian financial market again. Now, this is the basically we have covered so far the social sector, social intervention, social enterprise, major concept points in this chapter. Now the second chapter is Indian financial market. That is also important just because everyone knows about the stock exchange, I believe here. How many of you are aware of the stock exchange terms?
Yes.
That for them
Yes.
it is very easy, but please don't be overconfident. It is good to be confident, not to be overconfident. Go underline each keyword in the Indian financial market. From these 6-7 pages of the NIsM material, you are going to have 3-4 mark questions. So please be aware of some you can give by logic with your knowledge, but very thin line difference which will confuse you because in daily life we are not making thin line difference. For in practical, two words can be same for us, but in MCQ, two words are not the same, and we will lose 0.25 marks, 1.25 marks. So money market is the same, nothing is the difference. So money market is the one which is very short term, overnight to 1 year. These are the certificate deposit, treasury bill, commercial bill, short term funding arrangement between institutions and companies. This is the important MCQ. This is money market is run between the institutions and companies. between the B2B segment. Securities capital market. These are the market where securities are issued, purchased, and then sold, subsequently transferred among the investors. So securities and capital market, the securities can be issued, purchased by the investors, and then subsequently transferred by the investors. Here MCQ will come, one MCQ will come, or two MCQ can come from this slide. Primary market, also called new issue market, where the issuer raised the capital by issuing securities to the investors. Secondary market, where we are trading the already issued securities, not the newly issued securities. That is also the common terms we know. The difference only is that money market is between institutions and the companies, and in social securities capital market, investors can subsequently transfer the securities, and where they are subsequently transfer the securities, this is the secondary market. So secondary market, where already trading already issued securities are trading in, and primary market is where the new issue market or issue is raised. This is the new term, I believe, MII, market infrastructure institution. Who constitute the MII? That is the important, again in ISM material, three words: stock exchange, clearing corporation, and depositories. So they can give you who constitute the money market institution. They will replace one word with their synonyms: stock exchange, clearing corporation, and they can information repository. They can mention stock exchange, clearing corporation, and investors. So please remember these three words, highlight these three words, MII, and this will come again and again, I think 2 times at least today as an important session. This is the repetitive word you will use here in the coming sessions also. So this is an important MCQ, money market infrastructure institution. The stock exchange provide a trading platform. So who is the stock exchange? First component of the MII is the stock exchange. They are providing the trading platform where buyer and sellers come together. Clearing corporation do the clearing and settlement of all transactions executed. So this is the function of clearing corporation. They are doing the clearing and settlement. Depository is an entity facilitating holding securities in electronic form. So who is the depository? Now they are holding the securities in the electronic form. So that can be the MCQ. Enables transfer of securities by book entry. Main objective of depository is to provide maintenance of ownership or transfer records. So who has to transfer the records is the depository, not the clearing corporation. Right. There are the 2 depositories in India. This can be the MCQ also. How many depositories are there in India? There are 2 depositories in India, CDSL and NSDL. The depository provides services to investors through the agent called depository participants. So depository participant definition is also an important part. Who are the depository participants, or through whom they are providing the depository is providing the service to the investors. So this is very, very important para, important from the point of MCQ. Please mark it very, very, very important. Highlight each and every keyword of this para. Market infrastructure institutions is on the page number 28 of the NISM material. Come to the custodians. Custodian act on behalf of institutional investors, and they hold the securities and manage the bank account. So who are the custodians? They are acting on the behalf of which investors? Institutional investors. Yes. So this word institutional is very important. Please highlight the word institutional in your NISM book. And they are the they are acting on behalf of. They are not purchasing the securities on their own behalf. They are not holding the securities for their own. They are the custodians. So the word itself can give the answer. Investment banks give the strategic advice to the companies, government on their capital requirements and their investment decisions that is most suitable for their growth. Stakeholders and authorized persons. So who are the stockbrokers? Who are the stockbrokers? Stockbrokers are the agent of the clients. So they are play important role in the secondary market. they buy and sell the securities on behalf of the clients. So whether buy and sell function is done by the custodians are not doing they are just holding the securities and managing their bank accounts. Brokers are buying and sell the securities for their clients. Authorized persons are the agent of brokers. Earlier they were called the sub brokers. Now authorized persons are the agent of the sub brokers. Brokers. Asset management companies and portfolio managers, AMC investment specialists offer their services in selecting the portfolio of the securities. So they are permitted to issue the units that represent participation in net pool of money. So AMC companies issue the units which will be created the portfolio of the mutual fund. A portfolio manager do not offer any security. So what is the difference between portfolio manager and asset management companies? So mainly you understand the definition, you understand the difference, but then you can give the answer that asset AMC companies offer the services or offer the units, they offer the securities, bring the money together. Portfolio managers, they are not offering the security. They are not permitted to pull the money from the investor. They are just managing and creating the portfolio. Like in many cases, you'll see small case or they are baskets. Nowadays in the market, they're creating the basket wherein they are giving you 10 IT sector companies or 5 IT sector companies, bank sector funds, mixed blue chip funds. So these are the portfolio managers. They will provide you, guide you that you can, we can make this, but they are doing all on behalf of the investors. They are not investing themselves. In AMC, we are giving them our funds to them, and it is up to them with the guidelines, collecting the money, creating a pool, then they will invest in a particular share or in a particular sector. Credit rating agencies, another stakeholders or intermediaries in the IFC. These are the intermediaries. Credit rating agency is another intermediary. Rank various financial instruments in terms of ability to repay interest and principal. Can you name some credit rating agency?
CRISIL, ICRA, Q.
Right.
CRISIL, ICRA, yeah.
CRISIL and
Right.
ICRA.
Right, great.
Brickworks.
Brickworks.
So these are the credit rating agencies. What they will do, they will rank the ability to repay the interest and principal. Credit bureau. So credit score is assigned to borrower for the records of behavior. So this is for the past. So can you name the credit bureau example?
CIBIL.
Right. KYC registration agency. Can you name one?
KYC registration agency is
CRA.
CAMS.
CAMS and Carvi and all these guys who are.
So these are the agencies where they are for the mutual funds. Mainly they are using the KYC, the central depository. And if you are registered with them, then mutual fund, there is no need of separate KYC to be done. Registrar and transfer agent, and another important, the difference they can ask or confusion can come. Stock brokers, depository participants, depository, registrar and transfer agent. Please read these 4 definitions in together. Depository participant, registrar and transfer agents. So these 4 very closely related, but functions are different of all these 4. And when MCQ come, if you have an above idea, not in the deep market or don't have the practical, then it will confuse you. So please read these 4 definitions carefully to know their functions, what they do. Custodian, share broker, stock brokers. These are the another one which will confuse. As AMC and portfolio management, this will confuse. Credit rating agency and credit bureau and KYC registration, this will confuse. You are not aware of the stock market, from them I'm telling about. So these are similar terms which are used, and in MCQ these may confuse you. Another intermediaries mentioned are the NBFC companies, insurance companies, pension funds and investment advisor. Investment advisor and investment banker, there is a thin line difference between the two. So please go through the definitions of these two also. Now, type of investors. One question may come also on this slide. Indian financial market, type of investors. I am at page number 31 of the NIsM book. So before the investor, there should be the issuers. So who are the issuers? So what is the role of issuers in the Indian financial markets? So they have to be, what is the need of the issuer, why they need the money, what is their willingness to pay in lieu of the funds they are getting, ability to meet obligations, whether they are able to meet the obligations or not. And issuers can be mutual fund, private sector company, banks, government company, financial institution, NBFC. Now, who are the investors? Investors are the retail investors. Retail investors are the one who can invest up to 2 lakh rupees. That is also an MCQ question. Institutional investors, organization investing large amount can be DFI, bank, insurance companies, FII. These are the institutional investors. Accredited investor fund, accredited investors. This definition is given in the AIF regulation. So this is the one definition which is not in the ICDR regulation. So I have highlighted earlier also. This can be a MCQ that these accredited investors are given definition in the AIF regulations. And accredited investors is the one if they are the individual, HUF, family trust, or sole proprietorship firm, then annual income will be either rupees 2 crore rupees minimum, or their net worth is 7.5 crore rupees, out of which 3.75 crore should be the financial asset. So they have to satisfy only one criteria: any individual, HUF, family trust, and sole proprietorship firm. If these are the 4 categories, then if they have the income of 2 crore rupees, they are eligible as the accredited investor. Or if they are having the net worth of 7.5 crore rupees, out of which 3.75 crore rupees, that is 50% of the 7.5 crore, is the financial asset, then they are eligible. If they have 1 crore rupees, one is missing in the slide. If they have 1 crore rupees, this is not in the NISM book, this is from the AIF regulation. So you can note down this thing, or you can just note down somewhere on the left side of your NISM book to refer the AIF regulation for these quantitative things. So individual HUF family who are having the minimum 1 crore income, but they have also 5 crore as the net worth, out of which 50% should be financial asset. So in this they have to meet the both the criteria. If someone has the less than 2 crore rupees annual income, they have but more than 1 crore rupees and meeting out 5 crore as a net worth, out of which 50% is the financial asset, then they will be the accredited investors as per the AIF regulation. Body corporate trust other than the family trust is eligible to be accredited investor if they have the net worth of rupees 50 crore rupees. In case of partnership firm, individual partner has to meet the criteria of accredited investor.
What is the advantage of being an accredited investor, or rather, what are the requirements?
They can participate in the social impact funds and the other alternative instrument funds.
Okay, thanks.
Now, regulators. This is also an important slide from where MCQ can come. Who are the regulators of Indian financial market? So I am page number 32. So first is the Ministry of Finance, MOF, DFS, Banking, Insurance and Pension System. So Department of, so there are 2 departments in the MOF. One is the Department of Financial Services, who is regulating the banking, insurance and pension system. Please highlight these words in your NISM book. Department of Economic Affairs, they are regulating the capital market and its participant. 90% of the participants will attempt this MCQ as a wrong when it mentioned which department of MOF is regulating the capital markets. They will mention it Department of Financial Services. Rather, it is the Department of Economic Affairs. Please highlight this. 90% is the wrong. I can, even after highlighting this, 50% may attempt wrong when the MCQ will come. So please, very, very important, read before the exam this MCQ. MCA. So Ministry of Company Affairs regulate the companies. They are regulating the audit, control. RBI, issue of bank notes. The RBI is the function of the issue of bank notes, operate the currency and credit system, monetary policy. Objective is to maintain the price stability. That is the role of RBI, and regulator in the Indian financial market. SEBI is governed by SEBI Act 1992. So please, SEBI is the governed by the SEBI Act 1992. They are the primary regulator of the securities market. So if option is given about this, securities market, capital market, and both the options are given. Capital markets are regulated by the MOF, Department of Company Affairs. Security markets, this is governed by the SEBI. Basic function is to protect the interest of investor. This is also an MCQ. What is the basic function of the SEBI? SEBI का basic function है to protect the interest of the investors and promote the development of regulatory securities market. But if both the options are given, you have to choose. Protect the interest of investor is the utmost function of the SEBI. IRDA is regulating the net worth of the insurance companies because they are the intermediaries, the IFC. That's why IRDA and PFRDA will be the part of regulators in the IFC. So they are the 6 regulators of the IFC. So they can give you the options, which of the following are not the regulator. And in that case, you are confused why IRDA and PFRDA are the regulators of the IFC, because they contribute a lot in the money in the Indian financial market. That's why the regulatory authorities are also important, because a lot of money come from the insurance companies and the pension fund in the Indian financial market. Last slide. Indian type of securities. I know everyone knows aware this. Equity, ownership in the company, profit will get after the contractual claims, dividend, capital appreciation. Derivatives, trade both over the counter and exchange traded derivatives, future options. Fixed income securities, that is promised to pay a stream of cash flow during the term of the contract, can be transferable and non-transferable. These words, please highlight these words. Transferable, FIS can be transferable or non-transferable, because most of us will say these are non-transferable, right? So please highlight these words. Commodities, investment in real estate, gold, agriculture produce, these are the commodity market. This is also part of the type of the securities in IFC. Real estate, mutual funds are also the part of the type of securities. So please mention these things in the this. Now the MCQ time. Which one of the following is not the regulator of Indian financial market?
CIBIL.
Right. Very easy. So IRDA is not there, right? And CIBIL is the so
CIBIL is not the regulator, yeah.
yes, right. Capital market and participants are regulated by
B, Department of Economic
B.
Affairs.
Yes, B.
yeah. So please
B.
ensure it is B. This this is the exam question.
B. Second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B,
AIF
AIF
regulation.
B.
AIF regulation.
B.